Morning. Welcome back. We're up to the 31st of December, Friday the 31st. Another sunny day in paradise. It's going to slowly warm up, I think, over the next few days. And pretty hot week next week by the sounds of it. Where are we up to? So we had our business review yesterday with Eric from Farmenco. So that I did sort of say in the last one I was going to try and get him on camera, but that didn't happen. It was pretty full on sort of a day, or not a full day, but it consumes a fair bit. So I have spoken about it in the past, but it's basically he comes in and pulls the business apart with our financials and each different, I suppose, arm, or we've got a few fingers in a few different pies here, as you well know. But yeah, basically pulls the cropping apart and the livestock apart, the contracting not so much, but yeah, and then obviously the irrigation and the dry land. So just compares each, I suppose, enterprise and how it performs. So yeah, pretty long and the short of it. Basically, just a break-even year with the weather, or sort of lack of rain, and the yields sort of being back a bit. So yeah, worked 12 months for to come out the other end, and we're back to zero again. So anyway, it's just the way it is generally. The old bit of joke that if you've got enough to go around the next year, you've done well. So yeah. So anyway. I suppose a bit more on that. It just sort of shows again our livestock we can look at a five, because we've been doing it now with him. We can look at a 5-year average. So I think there's only one out of the last 5 years where the livestock business, part of the business, hasn't outperformed the dry land cropping, which is, yeah, we probably need to pivot a little bit, which was sort of we had a good yarn about yesterday. So look, whether we sow a bit more pasture, just an annual pasture out in some of this country out the back, and buy some, scanned-in lamb ewes in, lamb them down, sell the ewes, fatten the lambs, and then sell them. So that's something we'll look at. We've got a bit of time to sort of make a decision on that. There's no real panic there. It's not going to affect the plan too much. And the other one, our barley, barley's our best performer grain-wise, which we sort of have known for a while. So yeah, whether we, especially on the dry country out the back, we seem to always be growing a couple of tonne to the hectare better than our wheat yields. So yeah, obviously, even with barley being priced less, we pick up. We only need to grow an extra tonne, and we're comparable yield on yield. So yeah, just something to unpack. Watering still, obviously. We've got the new motor on the recycle dam, so I've just come down to start it up again. We'll finish this block today. Pivot's going again. I started it last night. We'll just duck up and check it. Brendan's been over with the bucket on the new block, just filling the channels and that in there. Had the earth moving contractor come yesterday afternoon. He had a look round, so he wasn't anything too difficult, I don't think. He's probably still a month away, which is fine. We'll just have to see what the weather does as to when we can get a crack at it. We probably will go in and rip. We won't. We'll just have to see how we go. We won't obviously be able to do the whole lot in one. Well, I don't know whether the weather might allow us, but to come and redevelop the whole block in one go, I think we'd be pretty lucky, I think. So if we're getting to mid-March and it hasn't rained, we'll. If we start at the end of Feb, say. And we get to the middle of March or late March when it hasn't rained and we're still lasering, we're probably going to have bigger issues. But we've got a few jobs to do, some stubble prep and that with our tractor, so we'll get all that done. Get this. We're just waiting on a disc chain, Kelly chain to hire. So once it's available, we'll drop the bucket off and go knocking canola stubbles into shape. But while that's still not here, we'll just keep chipping away with the laser bucket. There's a bit of stuff out the back I want to do, so Brendan's going to start and fill in one of the old dams over. He just started like yesterday afternoon, so he's probably got a couple of days left over there, and that block will be pretty tidy. So yeah, we'll just see. We may even start and do a bit ourselves now that we've got the plan, which we can. It'll be slow going, but yeah, we might start trying to get one of the channel pads in or something like that. So we'll just suck it and see. What else? I did touch on the last one about financing that job over there. So obviously we just go to the bank and get a loan, but what we've got access to in New South Wales, and I know Victoria don't have it, but I don't know about any other state, is we've got a government department called the Rural Assistance Authority, and basically we've got access to low interest rate loans. So they've sort of changed the terminology on it now. It used to be farm innovation, was based around that sort of stuff, but now with all the climate carry on and that sort of stuff, it's all drought resilience and drought preparedness and all that sort of stuff now. So the terminology has changed, but it's still the same sort of, the basis of it is still basically the same. So we can take out, and not just like the 2 irrigators we've got now, we've financed through them, so it's 2.5% over 20 years, up to $1 million. So yeah, we're nowhere near that. So we're in the process of putting an application in now to for that to fund this works. So the shed over the sheep yards, we've used that. It's that sort of stuff, like irrigation infrastructure upgrades, livestock upgrades, containment areas, hay sheds, silos, fixed asset sort of stuff. So yeah, we're pretty lucky. That's about as close to a subsidy as government subsidy as we get. So yeah, we're in the process of applying for one of them. What has held up that is, and I have mentioned there's been a bit of stuff going on in the background. We have actually changed banks. So I've been banking with the one bank for over 21 years. So this has been a six or 8 month process. We just haven't been happy with the interest rate we've been getting where we are. So we've sort of been bank shopping, and we have signed paperwork in the last week to move banks. So that's been reasonably stressful, but yeah, it's just making sure we're getting the right deal and that sort of stuff. So until we sort of signed up with the new bank, because obviously the bank's got to approve it, which has all been part of the deal that we've been working with them. Yeah, so there's, it's not just farm work and chasing irrigation water and driving tractors. There's a fair, which I have mentioned, there's a lot of business stuff in the background as well. There's a fox running along in the neighbours over there. You won't be able to see him, but just bobbing up, and that's the stubble. So anyway, yeah, I apologise I didn't get Eric yesterday, but we were sort of straight into it, and it was pretty solid going there for a while. So we're just trying to bounce a few ideas around about creating cash flow and sort of planning going forward. So today we've got the field day here. Hopefully I can get a bit of footage. I don't know how many are coming. I was going to get this pump started and go back and clean the shearing shed out, because they're gonna come in there. But I think we are going to come down and have a look at some of the flood, and I assume the pivot's going. I'm not 100% sure what they're up to. So yeah, anyway, time will tell whether we can get some footage of it. Might try and grab one of the girls and just interview them perhaps, and just see just get them to explain who Riverine Plains are and what they're up to, and how it sort of all works. Yeah, we can. At least then we can just come down here under. Hey, Charlie.
Yeah, 107.
107,
oh, yeah.
Is that what it is?
0937.
0937.
Yeah, that's what ours sort of look like. Yeah, but ours plants
So
aren't
that's a
all
shorter
the
one.
same
with the
variety.
sort of-
Yeah. So it was sown after Roundup Ready canola. It was sown before the 100 of rain we got, so it was actually watered up, which was good. So same treatment as the flood, so it's had 300 and 600. It's had a grub spray. There was quite a bit of grub damage in here, and then we did the zeal while we were going for the spider mite. So Vandercore was the other one for the grubs. Done with the plane. Hasn't had a foliar fert. It sort of fell on that time of year over Christmas New Year where there was no one open to do the tissue tests anyway, so we didn't worry about it. So as I mentioned before, this half's been done with the fert put underneath or down the tube, and there's about, you could probably walk in the pivot track there and you'll see there's about 5 or 6 runs on the east side here that was done the same, and then the rest of the pivot was spread, fert was spread on top. Yeah, 20 a day, or we're putting 20 per application, which when you look at some of the pivot tracks in spots is enough. Yeah. What else?
Do you plant it up and down? Or round?
Yeah, up and down. Yeah.
And then just lap around the outside?
Yes. Yeah. There's 4 or 5 laps around the outside. Yeah. I don't know. Like, what are people doing with? Are they going round and round or up and back?
Round and round's better for your efficiency because you got like a kilometre pass.
Yeah.
It's
When
unreal,
you're
the first
sowing,
pass, that one there's not so fun, but
Yeah.
But then you get to the point where you're trying to pull the, like specifically for me, like the plan is a lot easier, but you're trying to pull the rig round the corner and you just get in the third inside tower, you're stuffed.
Yeah, that's right.
So you sort of turn and go the other way. And then we've sort of we leave sort of 9 rows on 30 inch through here, so it's sort of like do a half skip.
Yeah.
Just sort of auto cut off on the plan.
Yeah, I don't know why this has got so wide.
And you told me, I don't know, Oliver, what do you reckon? You've probably done plenty of it over the years, but it's close.
You've got to get
close.
it set up right from the start. With like, going back all the time, altering older layouts is costly.
And that's why we've got a clean slate over there. We've flattened all the channels, we're filling the dams and that in at the moment. Like, should be clean slate.
Yeah, I wish Dad had a move probably more to back in the day to how we go watering now.
Yeah, and it's got to be done properly. Like, we've got another block there that was, I can remember as a kid they lasered it, and they were there for months, and just it hasn't been topsoiled properly in spots. Like some of it's just red raw clay.
Same thing, you're paying for it 30 years on.
Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah. So it's the layout's quite good, but it hasn't been done properly. Like channels and stops and that sort of stuff are fine, but there's 2 or 3 bays there that just haven't been topsoiled properly.
In terms of surveillance, which do you find less work?
I haven't really had much issue with those timers. If you clip the chains on properly, you're right. I haven't had a bogged pivot yet either, touch wood. Nah, only when, only when you just, all right, I've got to check it at midday tomorrow. So obviously you're down fueling the pump up, like we need a bigger tank on the pump. That's probably one thing that makes you go around it, but I can comfortably go away for the day and not worry about it. Nah. And the irrigator, like we had, this irrigator was put here in 2016, so it's relatively new, but it's probably done 2,500 to 3,000 hours, and when was that? New Year's. We were about to get off and look at it, and oh shit, that irrigator stopped, and I come down and it had from the hydraulic pump to the bottom of the tower had just been rubbing against the thing, and it dropped all the hydraulic oil out on the ground, and like it had stopped. So that was a day by the time we got it right. I went away for the weekend and left it to one of the guys, but that was a day it was down. But I mean, you have channel blowouts, like I had a channel blowout over on our other block. got over and gone, shit, there's not much water in the channel, what's going on? And it was hot, heading out the opposite side of the channel to the crop. So, you know, it's not without its both of them are probably much for muchness, but everyone knows what mechanical stuff's like. You know, as they get, well, I think their wheel motors, they T&L are 20,000 hours or something, I think they warrant them for. So there's not much wrong with that. But at some point in time, like the dam motor, it's coming on 6,000 hours. So yeah, it's probably just general stuff, you know, alternators and that sort of thing, shut down in the middle of the night because the alternator dies. So they're not, yeah, if you've got machinery, they're no different to a header or bloody anything else like that. Yeah. And some days they can just be a pain in the ass. Like if they keep shutting down, you think, why? Like the ag sense, I can turn it off, change the flow rate, reverse it, do everything off my phone. But sometimes, you know, you had the 3G, 4G crossover, so that was a pain in the ass. It just wouldn't work. And then, you know, sometimes it just, I don't know, it might have a pressure spike or something like that, and it'll shut itself down. Yeah, we had one walk into a tree. That was good. That was a $55,000 balls up on my behalf. When I had to go to a fire, went to a fire. It was actually the bloke whose planter we used to plant the corn, and thought I need to turn that irrigator off. And we had an auto stop in, and it had been like done that for 3 years and hadn't missed a beat. And I accidentally on the app turned the auto stop off. And we were home at the time drinking beer on the back veranda, and I saw it shut down, but I couldn't see the outer half of the pivot. And gone, oh, it's shut down. So it's either turned itself off, jokingly, it's either turned itself off or it's walked into the trees. This was last year, I had to come down to change rice water, and it walked into the trees and shut itself off. So, you know, tipped the last span over. Well, that was my fault. So, but you know, that's just human error. Like,
what do you reckon you'd be like spending like this maintenance wise? It's on earthworks as well on the flood irrigation.
we haven't done anything here apart from spraying channels. Nothing. Well, I haven't touched any of this. We regrade where we've got the other block. We did regrade it because we've had that block since 2019, and it was an old dairy farm. So you just had where the cows have been plugging across to everything, and we built new channels and that sort of stuff. But apart from spraying channels, we don't really touch them. Yeah, they probably need a regrade. I don't know. We've only now that we've got we've had our own bucket for 10 years probably, but you know, if you're doing a regrade every, I don't know, it's, you know, a grader board does a lot of, you know, you work a bay up and drag a grader board round, you shift a lot of dirt and get them pretty good again. I don't know, depending, it's same against soil type, people will probably tell me different, but yeah.
So John, would people say the pivots are more suited to a certain soil type as opposed to your flood?
Your sandier soil types, they probably are, yeah, where you haven't got the water holding capacity,
Yeah.
definitely. This paddock here was rice, had rice layout on it once upon a time, so yeah, we just flattened, the old man flattened it. Back in, I can remember in '88, I was only a kid, and it was a wet year, and we were carting the rice, we were loading trucks out on the road, and it was just a quagmire. So that was the last year Dad grew rice. Well, the water table was at ground level, nearly 2, I think. So, but I've back dabbling in rice, which it's as good a gross margin as anything if water's cheap.
So will you go back into rice?
Yeah. We had rice in last year. We would have had rice in this year, but the rice board, in their wisdom, well, they've had an oversupply. Can only sell about 500,000 tonne, and they've been getting about 650, and so they came in and cut everyone back. It worked on a 3-year average, and because we'd only been, and there was a few of us, we're in the same boat. Because we hadn't grown rice, like we'd only grown 1 year out of 3, and we grew 500 tonne last year. you divide that 500 tonne by 3 and that would have been your tonnage. So we're 160 tonne was all we could grow, so it wasn't worth worrying about. And then about 10 days before you should be planting it, they came out and said, oh no, it's back to business as usual, we haven't had the seed uptake. And so yeah, it wasn't going to happen. But it's a great crop to grow, obviously water use, but yeah, and like we were sort of a bit over 13 tonne last year with it, so you know, we had Farmenco, our business bloke here yesterday going through it all. I think we probably used about 12 megs. Yeah, you know, the pool will come out about $390 a tonne in the end. So it's and we can deliver it to Finley. We haven't got to market it. We haven't got to store it. Yeah. So yeah.
Thanks, John. I think that's been really. They still had fairly high levels. Now there is one rider on the maize crop. It did get I think 800 kgs of urea, and it also got 6 tonne of poultry manure. So basically, nitrogen on that paddock. The next rotation we looked at was vetch. So Tim sowed it was a. Yeah.
I think, yeah, there's definitely a difference in going. Like I've got some fallow paddocks that we went into this year that I had to burn them. They had that much rubbish on them before we put the stuff in, but I don't think there was much in that, and it's sort of had to have a full dose, like a full 800 kilos or 850. I think we put out of fertilizer on it. Whereas and probably had a better emergence of our corn, also where the crop was as well. Considering there was like where the other stuff was, there was nothing on the ground. There's no organic matter there at all. Yeah. And it was very hungry dirt. Yeah. So there's probably multiple benefits to it. Next year I'd like to sow a cereal crop in it and then just spray it out in like the middle of winter. Yeah. And just let it die and rot down and just strip till straight through it.
Yeah. So just getting that organic matter. Yeah. And is that a cheaper option than you're looking for a cheaper option there, or why are you going cereals?
Works down at Dookie. We mainly service the Finley, Berrigan and Jerilderie, Oaklands sort of area. I've been doing agronomy in this area for 24 years, originally from Deniliquin. So that's a bit about me. What I might ask is everyone an irrigator here, or is mainly, put your hand up if you're just dry land, I suppose.
All right, I've got Kate Coffey here. Kate, what's your role with Riverine Plains?
So I'm a project manager at Riverine Plains, John, and we manage the farmer and community engagement part of the organisation, which is basically helping farmers learn new technologies, new ideas to improve their on-farm profitability. Awesome.
So we're a bit more professional with what the rest of the videos usually are. Right, summary of today. So we had, 38?
Yeah,
which is good.
Yep.
Really good roll-up.
Yeah, had a few farmers, few agronomists, and the main theme of the day was around irrigation, looking at John's maize crops, looking at what inputs we use, some of his practices. I think there was a lot of interest around the costings of your pivot.
Yep, which I've spoken about.
Yep. A lot of people got really a lot of value out of that.
Yeah. I think we're all in the same boat a bit with everything getting so expensive and cost per hectare and that sort of stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, and then the other thing we had a bit of a chat about was using the vetch as a green manure crop to add nitrogen to your soil. And, a bit of discussion around that. Yeah, you would have seen I had to lean with the camera, so I'm not too sure whether she got what discussions she got. So we'll work that out when we come to editing the video. Yeah. But so no, that's good. Good. And I just want to say thanks to John. He's always been a great sharer of information, and that's what Riverine Plains is all about, is getting farmers to share their successes and their failures, and that can help other farmers in their own business. So it's
cool. So if you're in the Southern Riverina and you're not a member, You should be. Go to the
Join
website.
Riverine Plains.
Get on board.
Yep, thank you.
Cool. Well, so I hope the audio went pretty well. Worked all right on that. Obviously won't know till we come to edit it, and we'll cut and paste a bit. And but I've known Kate, as I said. I've been past committee and board member and actually chair. I did chair the Riverine Plains cropping group for a couple of years. I haven't been on the committee for sort of 4 or 5 years now, but really good group. It was started by farmers just because there was, back in the day, there was when sort of funding got cut from the sort of state agricultural departments. There seemed to be a bit of a gap in the market as such, and I think a group of 20 farmers at the time sort of got together and started the group up. So it's been going for over 20 years now. So so it's good to support it. And I said Kate, who spoke, she's actually Matt's, our agronomist's wife. So I've known Kate for a long time. It's always good for a laugh and catch up. So, but I think there was about 38 farmers and 3 or 4 agronomists in the 38. So it was really good discussion, and that was sort of a bit of the takeaway comment that there was good discussion, and people quite often you find you get a group of farmers and no one will say anything in an environment like that. Everyone's a bit shy and they want to keep their cards pretty close to their chest, and we're a cagey bunch of critters when we want to be. So it probably helped. I did probably engage a little bit just because, one, we're at our place, so I was sort of, and 2, we've got the channel, so everyone knows what's going on anyway. But just with costings and that sort of stuff, I don't, the new irrigator and that sort of laying country and that. So it sort of helps if you've got a couple of guides that help keep the conversation going. It makes it a bit more. Other guys are feel a bit more comfortable then speaking up and giving their opinion or asking questions and that. So it was really good morning. One of the better mornings I've been to, not purely because it was at our place, but purely because of the engagement as well. So just heading out the back. Again, Brendan's on the laser bucket, and he's actually still speed tilling the rice ground. Just going out, the bulldozer is out the back here pushing a dam in for us. So I thought, what better time to go and have a look is now. So it's a bit after lunch, about 1:30. It's low 30s, 31 degrees by the ute, so it does feel warm enough. We'll duck out here and see what's going on. This just went and checked, the water's nearly finished here. We're nearly onto the last bay. And then we can move the pump over to the other place. The boys got the other mob of sheep, the rest of the sheep moved back to home this morning, so we're ready for scanning on Monday. We'll go out and see what this bulldozer's up to. He's really got it filled in, so he's just going to level it off a bit more, and then we'll bring the bucket out, tractor and bucket out, and we'll level it off. A lot better, but I reckon he's only been, I think he was out here about 10 o'clock, so it hasn't taken him long to do it. It was a pretty deep hole actually, so it's worked out pretty well. So he's just sort of backblading it now to level it off a bit, and he'll be done. So we've got over the rise there's a few other holes, and that we're going to get him to push in as well while he's going. So same again, we'll get the bucket and level them off. So it's going to be good. As I said, if you watch the earlier ones, there's a fair bit of horehound and that sort of stuff here. Just growing weeds, so we'll pick this little bit of the area up. Now they've got the tank there, we don't use it anyway. Okie dokie, end of the day. end of the video. I've been to town and got a few things. Our old truck, which I'll show you when I get the bits for it. The old truck that a few of you guys have asked about. I'm having trouble with it. We got some family photos done last night and it hasn't been running for ages. Had it going, took it round, gave it a wash, and then it wouldn't start. So I've ordered a new set of points for it. So it's a 1937 Maple Leaf for you older guys that watch along. I have had a few guys ask about it. That was my grandfather's truck, so that's how, and one of my uncles restored it, and then we've ended up with it. So, good day today. I've got a new hat. So the other one was pretty grubby, so I've scored a new hat out of it. But yeah, really good day. Can't beat that, and hopefully the audio's all right. You get a bit of an idea what's going on. Can't beat that peer-to-peer learning. I just find it's a great way to learn from other farmers and their mistakes and their successes. And it was a really good group. Like, guys were willing to talk. I think I did mention, other groups. Sometimes you get farmers and they just won't say anything. Like, whether they're a bit gun shy with the crowd or what it is. But we had a couple of good agronomists here today that were engaging and yeah. It worked really well, so it was I really enjoyed it, and I think the feedback was everyone else did too. Good to meet a few of you guys. There's 3 or 4 guys that had watched the video. I did mention to everyone, or sort of when we first met here at the shearing shed here before we went up the paddock, I just said to everyone, this is the deal. We've got a channel. We've been running it, and if you're not happy, we won't video anything. And no one put their hand up and said no. So one of the girls, the Riverine Plains girl, she was kind enough to do a little bit of videoing for me. So you won't hear, you probably, obviously I haven't edited it yet, but fingers crossed you get a bit of audio and you get a bit of a gist of sort of how the discussion went and that sort of thing. Getting back, I spoke about at the start of the video about the RAA loan, government loan. So I've actually found out today through a couple of guys here, and I've since spoken to my accountant, they've actually finished. So that's put a bit of a spanner in the works as far as funding this development on the new block. So we've got a couple of ideas, so we'll just have to run a few numbers and see how it all pans out, and see whether we can make it work. As I did mention, I think we can probably do part of the work ourselves, or start and do part of the work ourselves, where we don't have to move bulk dirt, but we'll just have to see. It's going to, put the handbrake on the job a little bit. We'll just see how it pans out. But anyway, it's not the end of the world. We'll, there's plenty of other stuff to do, and we'll get it knocked into shape as best we can now. So if something does happen to happen, we're ready to go. Bulldozer, he finished filling that dam in. I was just talking to Sean there before that was driving it. So he will have, 2 or 3 hours on Monday. Today's Friday, so and it'll be finished. We are going to get an excavator back to pull some contours up on that. If you're a long time watcher, on that sandy sort of depression, I'm going to get them to come back and pull them up a bit better. They were going to do it with the dozer, but they just reckon it'll be a bit neater with the excavator. They can sort of pull it in and scratch it and batter it off better. So so anyway, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope you have a good weekend. See you in the next one. Bye bye.